Hello, I'm Sophie. I'm a developer at ToucanToco. So I would just want to talk about our experience with support in the last year. Our company went from 5 people to 25. So we had a lot of new things happening. Um, I want to tell you about what were the problems that we encountered and how we managed to handle them. So first, a little bit about ToucanToco, what it is. We are not Algolia or Trainline, so I think I need to tell you what we do. The history, a little history of the last year and what we did. So what is ToucanToco? It's a database web application, so dashboard, maybe, you know. It's very simple. It's a JavaScript web app, and that shows data in the form of graph. We have a simple UX. We are mobile first. What we want to do is make data fun and accessible. Usually data is used by people that have a bit of an understanding of it. What we want is that everyone can understand what's happening and make good decisions. What we are is also and mostly a software as a service database studio. So the application that I was talking to you about, you can create with our product. You take your data, you choose the type of chart you want, some options, and you have a lot of application. This is the store, the demonstration store we use for commercial. So this means that we have two kinds of users. We have the viewers, people that are just looking, just seeing the charts. Usually for this, I'm not really going to talk about it. We have a Zendesk. We don't have a lot of tickets. We have templates, not like Trainline. But main issues are we are a B2B software, so usually they have all Internet Explorer versions. That's the most we have, or they can't type a password. So for this is really simple support. And we also have the advanced users, so the one that use the studio. These people can be analysts, consultants. There are not a lot of people, but if we don't do the customer service right for these people, it can really be bad for us, because usually there's like one user in one company for the first project. If he's not satisfied, then this is the end. Right now, these advanced users are mostly internal. It's an internal team. And later, there will be partners and clients. So for this, we need a qualified and premium support. So why good support? Because it means, I was happy nobody used this image before. So it means if we have happy users, we have good referrals. We have people that recommend us. We can say, oh yeah, we did a project at Renault. Okay, you can call this guy. He knows what we do. We are also a startup for B2B. So if you're a young startup for B2B, a lot of big companies that have the money, they don't want to. They're like, this is risky. In 1 year, maybe you will fail. Then everything I've bought with you is trash. So we really need to have happy users. It also means that people will use ToucanToco well. For the advanced users, they will create applications that will be the showcase of our product. If they do not a good job, don't use the good charts, have a bad configuration of the application, then people will see that, they say, ToucanToco, what is this? This is bad. What we want is people to say, this is nice, you did this, oh my god, how did you do it, how easy was it, yeah, I did it, it took me 2 days, that's nice. And so people will want it, so this means we can sell more licenses, more users, whatever. So we support usually for tech people, it's not something that we really like to do, but we are an enterprise software company, so we have to do it well. So what are the challenges? Right now, the team is quite small. We have limited resources, so we need to be efficient. We cannot lose our time always answering the same question. Our product is also evolving really fast. So we have API changes, we have new features, which means that instead of, when time goes by, instead of reducing the support because we always have the same question, we have new questions also coming in. And we are also learning as we go. So this means that we're just moving fast, and when something hits, let's go back, see what we can improve. Luckily, we have alpha testers, our internal client success manager team, who is doing the studio work and create applications right now. It's good because they are really forgiving. They are in the same room, so if they have questions, we can answer pretty fast. And also, they are honest with us. If they are not satisfied, they will tell us this is not a good user experience, instead of just saying nothing and then telling to the manager, don't buy ToucanToco ever again. So, little bit of history. In the beginning, the team was mostly technical. It was 6 people, 4 developers. The 2 non-technical people we could manage, but it was not a SaaS studio. You had to check out the main branch. You check out master, you create a new branch for your clients, you do some modification, you push, you deploy. This is not SaaS. But it was still really working well. And that's when we started. We still have like a front-end application and some configuration, so it's pretty flexible. We don't have to write code again for every new client. The product was also very simple. We didn't have a lot of charts. We knew a lot of workarounds for when we didn't have the right chart. So yeah, there was not too much to do. Sometimes a little debugging on the terminal, but once people have everything installed, all the dependencies, you don't have that much to do. We are not really thinking too much about run and support. We are just thinking, let's deliver a project that people like, and we'll see later. The only thing that we changed is that we use CSON instead of JSON. So the configuration I was talking to you about, it's like a big JSON file with an array of all your options. We use CSON because we are kind of tired of closing brackets and looking for commas. So CSON is the CoffeeScript version of JSON. Don't know if we are going to keep it, use some other standard, but it's nice because it's only indentation, so you don't have as many problems. We had one Google Doc with a list of charts and options and some nice screenshots. We had a Trello checklist with a list of batch comments, and so when a non-technical person would start, they will duplicate the card and check all the comments. This is important because non-technical people tend to miss steps if you have comments to run. We had a README and some doc strings in the latest part of the code. The most legacy code didn't really have any documentation before. Then the team got bigger in January. We had the first client success manager that arrived. Before that, we tried to prepare. We wrote a lot of documentation beforehand. We tried to simplify everything, but it was a mess. When the first client success managers arrived, we had a lot more projects at the same time, more business, more questions, and people that really got stuck. So they were doing something, and we had to be there right now, because if we answer tomorrow, it means that they have lost today. They almost. So the documentation also was not ready or not friendly. It was written by developers for non-developers. It was, as you said before, there was a lot of implicit knowledge that we thought that everybody had, but no, they did not. Like, what is a front end? What is a back end? Stuff like this. So there were so many questions, and also communication got really harder. People were not aware of the new features and what was delivered. So there was a lot of difficulties. So let's bounce back. We do a lot of retrospective. So we see what we want to keep, what we want to lose, what we want to drop, instead of negative, positive. And we did, okay, what's not good in my day-to-day life, and how do we address these pain points? So what were the pain points? For the client success, it was the documentation. It was all over the place. A lot of people have written stuff. It was on Google Doc. So if you've ever used the search on Google Doc, it's kind of weird. Is it Algolia? It's kind of weird because now sometimes you have just the title of the document. Sometimes inside you don't really know what you have. Sorry. They got blocked often, so it was frustrating. They would unblock and then get blocked, get blocked. The product errors were for developers because we knew how to look at the logs. We put a breakpoint. We know where it's failing. No, for them, they had to have some explicit errors. They had also no visibility on the time to deliver a patch or a feature. So this means you have a client that says, oh, there's a bug. Then they said to us, oh, there's a bug. And we say, okay, put it in the backlog. It's on top of the pile, but then you have a backlog grooming and poof, and it disappears. And also, since we had so many interruptions, our productivity was kind of down. So we are not really able to give an estimate. The workflow also was convoluted for them. Running commands, you have to start the front-end server, the back-end server. You have to, a lot of Git also was difficult for them. And the fast changes were really hard to follow. For the dev team, you know, this comic is just a bit of it. But interruptions it's really hard. You're thinking of something and then tuck. How do I do this? Yes, and then you have to get back in. So this was not cool. Lots of also emergencies, since the new people didn't really know how the product was working. Everything was an emergency. You had there's a little bug. We have to fix it because they don't really know how to answer to the clients and things like this. And so we didn't have enough time to dev. We felt like we didn't have enough time to dev, and we couldn't answer the question when will this be ready. So it's annoying for people to have to ask it all the time, and it's also annoying not to be able to answer. So what are the solutions? We need more devs. We're going to recruit 100 devs. So, by the way, we're hiring. No, I'm kidding. So we're hiring. That's true, but we are not going to recruit 100 support technicians. So what can we really do? We have to do less support, less technical support. This will mean that we will improve our product, improve the user experience. So, write the fucking manual, bitch. This is our first value. It means that we have to capitalize on the knowledge in the company. It cannot be only like 4 people that have been there from the beginning that know everything, because then they will be indispensable and it will become horrible for them and for the rest of the company. We prepare for the future by starting the documentation early. I hope one day we will have a nice doc like Algolia. So we started to set up JS doc, Sphinx on the back end, to have better tools, to have a documentation that will evolve at the same time as the API, to also have the guide and tutorials and more not technical documentation to be in the same place. We set up all of this. We had to teach a lot of stuff. Here I put teach client success how to write Markdown, but it means just educate people on good tools that would make developers and client success work well together. We put the documentation as a core value because it needs to become a reflex. If you have a question, it's cool. Have the question. Just don't ask it 3 times in the same week, because we will know, we'll see, and it's going to become a little annoying. Just write it down somewhere, and it will be useful for people later on. And also, we made it so that the code and documentation were deployed at the same time. Small things, but this is really nice, because now we have a website. It's internal, don't look for it, where we have all the doc and we can iterate on it. The thing is, we are really young, so it's good that we start doing the documentation now and improve it progressively, instead of one day saying, oh, now we have a lot of customers, we need to write the documentation. This is horrible. Second thing, better product. So devs aren't the users anymore. So we can be really picky users, but we are also really good at finding out why this is not working. There's a bug. We open the inspector tools. We look at the request. Oh, there's nothing. This is why. We cannot. This is not viable. This is not scalable. So we have to make the integration, the configuration part, more user friendly. We also need to have a more stable product. We do a lot of changes right now, which is good because we deliver really fast. But at the same time, if you move too fast, and this is what arrived when new dev came in, when we were only 2 devs, 4 devs, whatever. When we were only 4, it was kind of easy because you don't have as much review, not as much entry points. So we had to make the changes smoother. So we need better error handling. We went from internal server error to some errors that are you have configuration issue on line 5, or sometimes I even saw this morning. You try to make a request to ta-ta-ta. Did you mean ta-ta-ta? Something else. You have to think that the people that will see, for example, if you have an error that says there's an error in your file, this is really annoying because you don't know. The program knows what the error is. Why not just say it? This was not something that we really thought about. Going quick, we didn't really put much thought into it, but I would say this is something that maybe we could have done from the beginning. We also stopped and said, okay, we have still people using GitHub as a way to do kind of versioning and deployment. If we really want to have a software as a service, to have a cloud solution, how do we go from now to here? So we had to define a strategy. Also more testing, so you don't have regressions. You already need to communicate the new features. You don't want to communicate on, oh, this is not working anymore because I fixed this, and then no. So more testing. So you can, in GitHub, you can block a branch if the tests haven't passed. Also a path to front-end testing. Who here does front-end testing? Okay. Algolia, okay. Sometimes it can be hard, especially when you haven't done it from the beginning. With an AngularJS 1 application. Okay, so we said, okay, what can be a good strategy to have more testing on the front? So we have now refactoring path to have more component-based approach, so more unit testing. We also set up log entries to use the logs. So the client success manager can go on a nice interface instead of SSH server, tail the log, this kind of thing. In terms of organization, we are using Scrum methodology because that's what we knew, so we did it. Actually, Kanban is much more suited to what we have because Scrum is very one flow, I would say, and Kanban you can have multiple lanes, which allows you, you don't have like one priority list. With Scrum, the problem is that some things that were always like on top, but not completely on top, they would always stay there, and we would never do it. So now we can say, okay, I want 40% of my sprint to be on the studio. I want 10% of bug fix. I want 20% of this. This is a really nice thing with Kanban. We also added a fast lane because there are always emergencies. We still need the developers. So the fast lane is like we say, okay, we take 5% of the sprint, and this is just for emergency. If there's something, we are flexible and we can bounce back. So this really gave us a better visibility and better prioritizing. Everybody is more happy. Even the marketing team started doing kind of agile thing. They have backlog grooming and all. It's just really nice. There's an article on the blog if you want. In terms of communication, when the team grows, not everyone knows everything. So now we have a weekly product review. We recently changed the format of that review because it was a weekly product review for everyone. Now it's just for client success, and we'll have a monthly product showcase for everyone because, as you said, Anthony, not only is it good that everybody in the company doesn't forget what they are working on. Marketing, they are doing nice, funny tweets, they are doing articles on whatever, but sometimes they can forget what we are really selling, what gives us money. We taught Trello to everybody how to write a good card because we had a lot of this is not working, sometimes the screenshot, okay, the line chart is not working, okay, I don't know, I cannot fix this, so we had to educate people on this. Organize little tech lessons. As I said before, front-end, back-end, this is not something that's obvious to everyone. Client success were coming from consulting firms, so they were really used to having annoying clients, but they are not used to technical stuff, not at all. So we had to pass on the knowledge. Pass the knowledge, that's the first point. So again, there's a lot of things that seems technical to people because they don't know, but if you just spend 5 minutes with them, then they understand and they never bother you again. So we also created something special, le roi des tocards. So tocard, tocard is a nice word for people working at Toucan. So we don't take ourselves too seriously. The king of the tocard is the support guy. There's a dedicated person each sprint, a developer, that will do support tasks. Why? Because if everybody is doing a little bit of support, you still have a lot of interruptions, even with all that we've done before. So that developer is taken out of the sprint. He will just, if you have to interrupt someone, you interrupt him. He'll be happy to help. It's still something that rotates every week. So because 1 week is really nice, actually, because you feel like you're helping. 2 weeks is a bit, always people asking me questions. You want to change a bit. So they take all interruptions, they have no ticket. And in the meantime, because there's still a lot of meantime, you can help marketing, you can do some scrapping stuff, you can do some scripting, connect to a nice API that they don't know how to, read an article, whatever, I'm not looking anyway. So it's also a nice position. We try to make the support role a nice thing. And also you're the king or the queen. And that's it. Just as a closing thoughts, I think it's really nice to, when people are getting frustrated, don't think that it's because they're not using the product well. Listen to them. I think people have said it already, but listen to them, because then your product will only get better.
Do you have any questions?
Hello. Yes, I would like to know a little bit more about the roi des tocards. I like this word. Is it a dispatcher or is it a developer that will do the support?
Yes, it's a developer that will do the support. Usually what we say is, if it's under, usually it can be just 5 minutes. You know, just they say, oh, this command is not working. You look at the error, it says, have you tried this? And you just type it. Usually it's really quick. Sometimes it can be more. If it's under 2 hours, usually you can do it. If it takes too long, you can either get a developer and put it in fast lane if it's an emergency, or you can just write the ticket and we will take it in another sprint. So you can do both.
It is a guy everybody is going to see, to ask questions, and then it will dispatch. If it's too long, it will dispatch into a quick answer or developer bug fix support ticket for bug fix.
He acts as a buffer, so all the other devs aren't disturbed.
You said that you automatically document your product. Which tool do you use to automate?
So on the front end we have a JSDoc, so we just generate the documentation. On the back end we have Sphinx. And that's it. We use Circle CI for continuous integration and delivery. So every time we merge on the main branch, it deploys the code and the documentation.
Do you have a knowledge base or FAQ?
Do you have a knowledge base or FAQ? Because having docs is good, but searching in the doc, you said at the beginning that you were using Google Docs. It was not easy to find the solution. How can you manage this? Do you have a structure in the documentation? Or
with Sphinx, you have a little search thing, and it works. It's good enough for now. Maybe later we'll use something else. But for now, yeah, Sphinx is good. The only part that's not really searchable is the front-end JavaScript documentation, but it's almost all in the same page, so you can just control F.
I just like to add something about searching documentation.
Sorry.
Because we have a tool that's search, that if you have already written a documentation and it's available in HTML format, we have a crawler that will just read it every 24 hours, index it to Algolia, and allow you to search into it, and it's completely free, so that might be something you would be interested in.
Just a quick question. Science is not only used to write the technical documentation from the docstring, it's also used by the client success to write the users documentation, so the tutorials and things. That's why we're teaching them Markdown, because we use Markdown in science. That acts as knowledge base. Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, well, thank you so much.